Hearing some of the debate tonight over a bill that would allow a father to get a court order keeping a mother from having an abortion.
Right, House and Senate versions have made progress, but not without some opposition.
6 on Your Side reporter Kristen Gallant joins us in the studio now. Kristen, you've been looking at the issues and the arguments here.
That's right, guys. Opponents to these bills argue they're unconstitutional if they do become law. There's a lot for judges to consider. Whose rights are superior, the mother, the unborn, or the father's, and whether the bill falls under a domestic issue or a state issue. Senate Bill 494 and House Bill 1079 states that a person may petition a court with jurisdiction over domestic relations matters to request an injunction to prohibit a woman who is pregnant with the person's unborn child from obtaining an abortion.
This is not going back to what a state's saying. This is going back to what a father is saying.
We believe that nobody should have the power to make healthcare decisions for someone else. Not a judge, not a partner.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee has staked out his position on abortion.
You already know that I am strongly pro-life, and I will continue to defend this position.
Some legislators stand behind the governor.
I believe life starts at conception, and I believe both the mother and father were equally involved in bringing this life to being, and we believe that they both have a say of keeping that baby alive.
Abortion rights advocates say only one person should make that decision.
A pregnant person must have the ultimate control over their body and their pregnancy, and this unconstitutional, insulting, and dangerous bill is terrible, so we're working to make sure that people understand.
Under the legislation, the court would issue an injunction if the person who filed the petition proves they are the biological father and there is a reasonable probability the mother will seek an abortion.
A lot of it's going to boil down to is when does life actually begin, and when does somebody have the constitutional authority as that life to be protected?
If one of your partners has more power of the state behind them, it's dangerous in that regard. The real life impact probably will be a lot of women are not going to, or a lot of people who are pregnant are not going to tell their partners.
If the bill becomes law, violating the court order would mean the court could hold the mother in contempt. I wanted to get an expert's take on whether the measure would be constitutional, so I reached out to LMU constitutional law professor Stuart Harris. He told me, quote, "The bill is almost certainly unconstitutional because the court has actually struck down laws that are less restrictive over the past 30 years on women's rights to get an abortion. Now, under the legislation, the father would not be required to provide DNA evidence as proof